Hi there, and welcome back to the dojo. This is Comic Book Black Belt, and today I'm going to be showing you some digital inking for The Watcher. Through an upcoming magazine, Draw the Marvel Way, and yeah, just some digital inking for you. There's not a lot more to say, really. You all know The Watcher. If you're any kind of Marvel fan, you know who the Watcher is and what he's about and what his race is about. And they kind of watch. That's what they do. They log. They catalogue everything that goes on for posterity, for cosmic posterity. And funnily enough, cosmic posterity is going to be interested in what's going on at the moment. Wow, comic shops shutting, comic shops getting upset about the industry, the fact that people aren't reading comics in the way that they used to. Yeah, it's not a good thing. I love comics. I love the medium of comics. Comics are there for everyone. They really are. And when people start becoming gatekeepers as to whether you can enter an industry or whether you can enter a comic shop, depending on who you are or what you look like, that's wrong. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you sit on. You should be free to publish what you want, as long as it doesn't incite violence or is pornographic in the wrong way. There's nothing wrong with some pornography, and as long as it's appropriately sold to the appropriate age group. That's about freedom of speech. It really is. People should be allowed to just get on and do the things that they want to create, and let the market decide. Totally let the market decide. The market at the moment isn't being given a chance to decide. Personally, I think things went foul in the comic industry when comics were moved to the direct market, when they were out there on the street, and in your average paper shop. We would call it a paper shop in the UK. I suppose just a corner shop, 7-Eleven, whatever, grocery store that had comics and magazines in it in the States. When I was a kid, there weren't any comic shops. I bought my comics from local newspaper shops, and that's where I got all my comics from. And sometimes they didn't come out on time; they didn't get delivered, and that was maybe where there were comic shops at that time, if there were any. That was where you went for back issues. And then as I grew up and we got into the 90s, and the whole direct market turned up, I really enjoyed going to comic shops. I loved going to comic shops. And also what happened is, I was growing up a bit and I wanted darker stories, not appreciating the stories that I had read as a kid. Those fun, action-orientated, hero-driven, heroic journey stories. And I wanted Batman to be dark. I loved The Killing Joke. I loved Arkham Asylum. It was great to see these things get darker as I was getting older. But just like I was ignorant to have forgotten where I'd come from in comics, what I'd enjoyed as a child, so was the market. The market forgot about those comics, really. Everything started to get darker. There was a darker tone, and there weren't any comics on the spinner racks anymore. You couldn't go into a paper shop and get a comic. You had to go to a comic shop for it. So comic shops are great. I love comic shops, and they should be there for that direct market, for the fan market. But to get more people into comics, what happened was, we forgot a generation. The comic industry forgot several generations, and to get more people into comics, you need a constant turnover of readership, and you need young people to enjoy comics. And there are kids now that you show a comic to, and they're like, "What the hell's that?" That's not good. Kids still want to read. Kids still want to have those magazines in their hands. It doesn't help in the UK either that when you do get magazines, they're put in poly bags, because it's all about the free gift that they can give away rather than the book itself. So it's a sorry state at the moment, but I think that maybe, just maybe, Marvel and DC. I mean, DC are making noises about going back to the back to the general market, going back to the newsstand. I think that would be a good thing. They've already done those 100-page oversized books. They were good, but although they were kind of picked up by collectors or by other comic shops, and apparently you could hardly get hold of them. They're very difficult to find. I think Clownfish TV were talking about the fact that they could hardly find the books. They need to be front and centre, just like sweets or little toys or whatever, Easter eggs. You know the way things work. At the end of the shopping trip, you're in the kiosk. You're paying. You're at the counter paying, and that's where all the sweets are. That's where all the little bits and pieces of the crisps. That's where the comics need to be. Kids need to look at them and go, oh wow, that's Iron Man, that's Spider-Man, that's Captain Marvel, whatever it is. The things that that they see in the films, and get them out there. And I think that Marvel have missed a trick there. I was talking to someone today about it. It's like whether you like or dislike the fact that they made Thor female for a while with Jane Foster, or whether they had Ironheart instead of Iron Man. There's no reason why those characters couldn't have been put into the canon quite easily, into the industry, and at the same time had the traditional looking books on the spinner racks just outside the cinema theatre, so that kids could have bought them as well. It's not necessarily a solution, but it certainly would have helped. So I think the one bright spark in this whole thing is indie books and indie creators, and there's definitely a swelling, an underground swelling of indie creators coming to the fore, making good stories, good books, and getting them out there to a bit like a direct market, but it's kind of out there on the internet in Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and then of course once you're finished with that, you can put your books up on Amazon. So I don't want to see the local comic shops go. I don't want to see them go, but I do want to see a return to a broader, more open marketplace. And I think indie comics are actually doing a lot of that. So that's my thoughts on comic shops closing down. I don't want them to close down, but I want comics to continue, and I want more stories, and I want more content and better content, and I want it out there. And I think indie books are the way to go. I certainly will be making my own indie book this year. Hopefully you'll be there with me, following along. Hopefully you've enjoyed my rant and you've enjoyed watching me inking The Watcher. So hopefully you'll like, share, and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again next time in the dojo. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See ya. Thanks for watching Comic Book Black Belt. If you've enjoyed the content from this video, please like, share or subscribe and come over and follow me on Twitter. It's been great having you in the dojo. See you again soon.